The title of the Gosho is Service for Deceased Ancestors. Let's first listen to the background of this Gosho. This letter was written to Shiho Kingo, a samurai and one of Nichiren Daishonin's most loyal followers, in the 7th month of the 8th year of Bunai, 1271. Shiho Kingo had sent various offerings to the Daishonin as a donation for a memorial service to be held for his mother, who had passed away some years before on the 12th day of the 7th month. The Daishonin wrote Kingo this letter in reply, explaining that, in the profoundest sense, only the act of chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo benefits the deceased. Traditionally held in Japan on the 15th day of the 7th month, the service for deceased ancestors is a Buddhist observance honoring the spirits of the ancestors. This tradition originated in China and is based on the story of Maudgalyāyana's saving his deceased mother that is related in the service for the Deceased Sutra. Records indicate that the service for deceased ancestors was first held in China in 538, and in Japan in 657. Recent scholarship has established that the service for the Deceased Sutra has its origins not in India, but in China, where filial piety was highly valued. According to popular belief in Kamakura-period Japan, those who were greedy or egotistic in life would inevitably suffer from hunger and death. In this letter, the Daishonin discusses the various kinds of hungry spirits mentioned in Buddhist texts and explains the causes, that is, the evil acts they committed in past existences, that led them to acquire these forms. The Daishonin also exposes the true motives of many of the priests of his day, referring to them as law-devouring hungry spirits who use the Buddhist teachings as a means to gain personal fame and profit. Though they pretend to have a sincere desire to preach the Buddhist teachings, in their hearts they are greedy. They conceal the offerings they receive from others, keeping them to themselves. The Daishonin also censures those Buddhists, whether of the priesthood or of the laity, who neglect to pray for the repose of their deceased parents or teachers. Now listen to the Gosho. You went to the trouble to send me by messenger a donation for the service for your deceased ancestors of 1 to of polished rice as white as snow, a bamboo container of oil like well-aged sake, and 1,000 coins. In particular, I was very much moved by the contents of your letter. The service for deceased ancestors has its origins in the events arising from the Venerable Maudgalyāyana's attempts to save his mother, Shodainyo, who, because of her karma of greed and stinginess, had fallen into the world of hungry spirits for a period of 500 lifetimes. He failed, however, to make his mother a Buddha. The reason was that he himself was not yet a votary of the Lotus Sutra, and so he could not lead even his mother to Buddhahood. At the 8-year assembly on Eagle Peak, he embraced the Lotus Sutra and chanted Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, and became Tamalapatra Sandalwood Fragrance Buddha. At this time, his mother also became a Buddha. You also asked about offerings for the hungry spirits. The 3rd volume of the Lotus Sutra says, suppose that someone coming from a land of famine should suddenly encounter a great king's feast. This passage is explaining that the 4 great voice hearers, who were of intermediate capacity, had not yet even heard of the delicacy called ghee, but when this sutra was expounded, they savored its taste to their heart's content for the first time, thus bringing an end at once to the hunger that had long been in their hearts. Therefore, when you make offerings to the hungry spirits, you should recite that passage from the sutra and chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo for their repose. Generally speaking, hungry spirits are divided into 36 kinds. Among these, cauldron-shaped hungry spirits are ones with no eyes or mouth. If you ask what sort of cause from the past exists for this, it is because, while they were in this world, they did such things as attacking people under cover of night or committing robberies. Vomit-eating hungry spirits feed on what people have vomited up. The cause of this is the same as that mentioned above. It is also because they rob people of their food. Thirst-consumed hungry spirits are ones that drink things like the water that people offer out of filial piety to their deceased parents. Property-possessing hungry spirits are ones that drink the water from horses' hooves. This is because, while alive, They begrudged their property and concealed their food. Property-less hungry spirits are ones who have not heard even the name of food or drink since the time of their birth. Law-devouring hungry spirits are people who renounce the world and spread Buddhism. They think that if they preach the law people will respect them, and because of their ambition for fame and profit, they spend their entire present lifetime striving to be thought of as better than others. They neither help other human beings nor have a mind to save their parents. Such people are called law-devouring hungry spirits, or hungry spirits who use the Buddhist teachings to satisfy their own desires. When we observe the priests of our time, we find some who secretly accept offerings for themselves alone. In the Nirvana Sutra they are described as dog-like priests. In their next life they will become ox-headed demons. We also find persons who, though they receive offerings openly, being greedy, never share them with others. In their next existence they will be born as horse-headed demons. Also, some lay believers fail to pray for the repose of their parents who, having fallen into hell or the realm of hungry spirits or of animals, are undergoing excruciating agonies. These believers are luxuriously clad and fed, have an abundance of cattle, horses, and retainers, and enjoy themselves as they please. How their parents must envy and resent them. Even among priests, those who pray for the repose of their parents and teachers on the anniversaries of their death are rare. Certainly the gods of the sun and moon in the heavens and the deities on earth must be angry and indignant with them, considering them to be unfilial. Though they possess a human form, they are like animals. They should also be called human-headed beasts. When I think that I will surely eradicate these karmic impediments and in the future go to the pure land of Eagle Peak, though various grave persecutions fall on me like rain and boil up like clouds, since they are for the sake of the Lotus Sutra, even these sufferings do not seem like sufferings at all. Those who have become the disciples and lay supporters of such a Nichiren, especially your deceased mother, Myoho, the anniversary of whose death falls on the 12th day of this month, are votaries of the Lotus Sutra and my lay supporters. How could she possibly have fallen into the world of hungry spirits? No doubt she is now in the presence of Shakyamuni Buddha, many treasures Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions. Perhaps they are saying, "So this is the mother of Shiho Kingo." And, with one accord, patting her on the head and praising her joyfully. And she is probably saying to Shakyamuni Buddha, "What a splendid son I have." The Lotus Sutra says, if there are good men or good women who on hearing the Devdatta chapter of the Lotus Sutra of the wonderful law believe and revere it with pure hearts and harbor no doubts or perplexities, they will never fall into hell or the realm of hungry spirits or of beasts, but will be born in the presence of the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and in the place where they are born they will constantly hear this sutra. If they are born among human or heavenly beings, they will enjoy exceedingly wonderful delights, and if they are born in the presence of a Buddha, they will be born by transformation from lotus flowers. The phrase good women is found in this passage of the sutra. If it does not refer to the deceased, Myoho, then to whom does it refer? The sutra also states, this sutra is hard to uphold. If one can uphold it even for a short while I will surely rejoice and so will the other Buddhas. A person who can do this wins the admiration of the Buddhas. My praise of your mother counts for little, but the sutra says that she wins the admiration of the Buddhas. Thinking, how encouraging, how encouraging. You should apply yourself earnestly to faith. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. With my deep respect. Nichiren. The 12th day of the 7th month. Reply to Shiho Kingo.